What up, everybody? How you guys doing today? Today, I'm going to be talking about the Minecraft 2024 Tricky Trials update. We have a little bit to talk about. I'm not going to talk about all of it just because there's these trial chambers. We're not going to be going into them today. We're just going to be looking at some of the things we have. We're going to start off with a very cool thing, new music discs. So yeah, guys, I think there's about 4 of them, but they're really cool. We've needed new music discs. They haven't made a new music disc in quite a long time, so this is a very welcome addition to Minecraft. The next thing is going to be a new mob called a Breeze, I believe it's called. It's very similar to a Blaze, but instead of fireballs, it sends you these actual winds, wind bubbles. And yeah, it blocks you back and it'll shoot you up into the air. It's very cool. Definitely a pretty intimidating mob. It doesn't always shoot a lot. Sometimes it does have to take a breath, it puts its head down and actually takes a breath, and then it'll start shooting you. It shoots everywhere. And yeah, it's just a very cool mob. You can find them in the trial chambers, I believe that's where they are, or in this swampy area, something like that. When you kill these mobs, they drop, I believe it's called a breeze rod, something like that. And then you can make that into a wind charge or wind something. And that is what they are shooting at you, and you can shoot them at other players. You can shoot them at other things, which is actually very cool because they can trigger levers, they can trigger, I believe, wooden pressure plates, buttons, all that. So definitely going to be looking to make some mini games out of that. I feel like that could definitely have a lot of potential right there. Also, if you would like to jump up and down, if you shoot it at the ground, it will shoot you way up if you get a lot of practice in. So it's very cool. There's definitely a lot of potential for this item. Also, for when animals get attacked, they don't run for anywhere near as long as they used to. It's only about 2 seconds now that they're in panic mode, and then they just go back to being neutral. Up next, we have some new paintings, which is very cool. We have 20 new paintings. I actually did make an art gallery in this world already. That's really the only thing I have in this world in the town. But they just added some new paintings, so I'll have to build an updated one. Maybe make a new lighthouse for the second half of the paintings, because there's a lot. There's 20 new paintings. So maybe I'll make a second lighthouse or something like that, somewhere where I can display all these. Very cool, because we have not seen new paintings since, I believe it was 2012. Also, a lot of people won't notice this change, but pistons are a lot quieter now, which is very good because when I'm making mini games or especially ride experiences where you have to use pistons and stuff, the pistons can be distracting with their noises, so making it even more to get you more in that experience that you're in, like Hagrid's or something like that uses pistons, or Velocicoaster, certainly it'll get you more in the mood for that ride, not just hearing the mechanics of it. Next up, we have a new weapon, which is called a mace, I believe it's called. And it's pretty cool. These things can have a lot of damage. Basically, if you land on something right on top of its head, sometimes it has a little bit of practice. This is also something I could probably use for some mini games. If you land directly on something's head, it'll kill them immediately, basically. You can kill a villager in one shot, which is absolutely unheard of in the past. If you land directly on its head, definitely some practice that can go into it to make it absolutely happen every time, but it's very cool. And also, it has just regular 6 attack damage, so that's also very nice. 6 attack damage is 1 below the diamond sword, which is, again, a very useful material. diamond swords are. And this thing can be enchanted, so this thing can be a very powerful weapon. Next up, we have a crafter, which is mainly a cool thing for survival mode, of course. This is like a crafting table, but it does it itself. So we'll talk about it like in a little bit. So the crafter is the first item in the game to use a crafting table in its recipe to create the crafter. A crafter, basically, you have if you want to make a redstone timer, I believe it's optional, but I did one in this little demo of it. Then you also put a hopper with a bunch of materials of the block that you want to create, and then once that redstone thing gets going, it will create it for you, and it'll either dump it out just all on the floor, the material that you are trying to make, or you can just put a chest right in front of the thing. No hoppers needed or anything, just put a chest in front of it and it will work. It'll put it in the chest. So that's really cool. Definitely plan on using this at some point in the world. We also have a bunch of new blocks, including copper and all kinds of new stone bricks. So I'm not going to go too in detail with all of them, but you have like half slabs. You also have stairs. You have a bunch of new blocks, which is great. We always like to see some new blocks. With the copper, you actually have a grate that is there that can hold water. So you can put water inside that grate. It won't hold it in there, like it won't keep it in the cage, but it will let it pass through. So that's very cool. It's a actual grate kind of thing. So we are going to be using that for sure if we make like a water slide or anything. Definitely that'll make it more realistic. We also have these new copper bulbs, which are very, very similar to redstone lamps, except they have this little thing that indicates, like this little red thing in the middle, you'll probably be able to see it, that indicates if it's getting power. If it's getting power, then it's on, obviously. If it's not, then it's still on, but you just don't see that it's indicating power. And then when you turn it off again, it'll indicate that it's not getting power, and then it'll indicate it'll indicate that, again, that it's not getting power. It's kind of hard to explain, but you basically have to switch it twice for it to do exactly what you want it to do. So, but they are new lights, which are also always very good for the game. You also have the option to lead villagers on a boat now, which means if you want to drag villagers or any kind of other animal that can fit in a boat along your world, it's a lot easier than it ever used to be now. This is mainly for the trial chambers, but you have these bad omen drinks that will, if you're in the trial chamber, there are monster spawners, like zombie spawners, and if you don't have one, it'll just be like 2 regular zombies. But if you have a bad omen one, then there's like 5 levels of it. It's very interesting. I'm definitely thinking about going down into a trial chamber at some point. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how it works. But yeah, say you're on like level 3, you will have the zombies with actual like armor on them. So that's very cool that there's different kinds of things. Like, I don't know how you drink it. Accidentally drink it, or if you want like a harder level, that is the way to do it. But that is all I'm going to be talking about in this video. I just figured I should give you guys a little bit of an update on some of the things that I will be using in the future. And if you guys want to build out of this too, that is awesome too. And yeah, I was in my awesome world for this video. I just created a little kind of area in creative because it wasn't actually a build. I will do all my builds in survival. But yeah, other than that, I will leave a link to the merch in the description below. And yeah, aim high, not low, and never quit. Peace.